What's going on, y'all? Psych Perspectives, giofvcks. Try to keep this quick before I take my dog out for our morning walk. We're talking about the Jayda situation and Lil Baby. Once again, to me, this is a prime example of why people need to start embracing non-monogamous relationships instead of constantly thinking that you're going to force somebody to be monogamous because you're monogamous. And I'm just saying this because I said this before. It can be argued that most cisgendered men are not monogamous, okay? When you look at how most men act and behave, they want multiple partners, they're having sex with multiple people. They're non-monogamous regardless of how you feel. And on the flip side, it's time for cis men and men in general to stop lying, right? Because you know that you're non-monogamous, yet you're also lying and saying that you're monogamous and you want to be committed to one person and you and all this other shit. But then in the reality, most of these men are cheating on their girlfriends, their wives, their boyfriends, their husbands, their spouses, their partners. They don't care. And it's just time to just keep it a buck and keep it real and keep it honest. If you don't want a monogamous relationship, or you know that that type of commitment style doesn't work with you, then you need to be upfront and honest and own up to that. To my feminine people and to my women, and to anybody really, but especially to my women and feminine people, and I'm going to keep saying it, you are playing yourself. You are playing yourself. Because once again, in the Jayda Little Baby situation, how many times are you going to be cheated on, complaining about infidelity, complaining about being cheated, having your heart broken, having your feelings destroyed, having your self-esteem crushed, and you keep going back to these people, and then it seems like every other month we're hearing about the same people and how they found out that the person that they were with is cheating on them. And again, how many times are you going to get cheated on before you realize this is a pattern of behavior? The person you're with is not monogamous, okay? And it's obvious. Now, I want to say this as well, and I've said this before. Y'all gonna learn this ignoring red flags because you have feelings for somebody. It's played out. It's beyond played out, because at this point, it's blatant stupidity. It's blatant stupidity at this point, because you can't sit up here after a while and constantly complain about niggas ain't this, bitches ain't this, people ain't this, people ain't that. Yet you're steady ignoring red flags. You keep going back to people that are treating you like shit. And then you want everybody to give you sympathy and understand where you're coming from. But after a while, this is a pattern of behavior. This keeps happening. People are not going to continue to have sympathy for you because you're the dummy that keeps going back to being cheated on. Now, to each his own. If you want to continue to be publicly embarrassed at this point, because especially when you're dating these celebrities, like I'm just like, again, I'm already non-monogamous, but I definitely don't get how you guys think you're going to be in relationships with people who are famous, celebrities, or even now, people who get a lot of attention, even these social media influencers, people who are in the limelight. I don't get how you think you're going to be dating these people and really thinking they're going to be monogamous and faithful to you. Now, are there people that are in the limelight, that get a lot of attention, that are famous, that have a lot of money, etc., that are committed, that are in committed relationships and monogamous relationships? Yes. But it can be argued the vast majority of these people, they're not going to be faithful to you. They're not monogamous. And that's just it. People need to start being honest and upfront and just keep it a buck, keep it real. You're not monogamous. That's not the type of commitment style you're looking for. It's not the type of commitment that you're ready to commit to. And you need to just keep it a buck. All this lying And especially to men and masculine people. Stop lying to people just to have sex. There are so many people out here who just want to have sex that there's no real reason to be lying to somebody. And a lot of men and masculine people, they lie and they manipulate people into having sex instead of just asking, hey, you want to hook up? Because there's entire apps dedicated to just having quickies and hookups. So there's people who are completely okay with that. That's all they want. They don't want anything more. And that's what gets me. It's like the lies and the manipulation. Like, why are you lying to people that actually want monogamous committed relationships when there's plenty of people who don't want monogamous relationships and just want to hook up and have a good time? It doesn't make sense to be lying to people that want something more. It just doesn't. And then again, to women and feminine people and to people in general, stop playing yourself. Stop playing yourself, you know what I mean? And stop losing yourself for a person. Again, I experienced this 2 years ago. This is why I speak about this so passionately, because I can vividly remember the experiences that I had. You have to stop allowing yourself to lose yourself over people, because in the end of the day, somebody keeps sharing this meme, but it's like, know your position so you don't overplay your role in somebody's life. And that's really what it all boils down to. People perceive situations differently, and then it doesn't help that you have a lot of people, and I'm just going to say it, a lot of men and masculine people are known for lying and manipulating people into these fake ass relationships, these fake ass sex agreements. Just everything is just fake. Everything's a lie. You know, everything is a lie. That's why when I look at monogamy, from my personal experience and just looking at how it tends to play out, it's a fucking joke. It's a joke. It doesn't really exist for most people, and it's not realistic for most people, because most people, especially if you're dealing with cis men or men in general, are not monogamous, and they're lying and making it seem like they care about you and they only want you, and they're just saying what they have to say to get in your pants instead of just keeping it real. I'm just trying to have sex. You'll be surprised. There are people out here that also just want to have sex, so why don't you go and hang out with them? But no, you guys go lie and manipulate and want to hurt people that actually want something real. Okay? That you're not what you don't want that. But instead of just being honest about that and letting them have the option to know that you're not monogamous, that you're not faithful, that you're not looking for a committed relationship, you don't give them that option. You just lie to them and play all these mind games. And then the other person keeps getting hurt. This kind of goes back again to these narcissistic, toxic, one-sided relationships, entanglements, situationships, relationships, as far as I'm concerned. It's trauma bonds. You guys get trauma bonded to these manipulative, toxic users and liars. And because that's like, going back to what I said about the DL situation. If you ever notice, when you're dealing with a toxic person, a dysfunctional person, a narcissistic person, you know what they all have in common? I'll wait. I'll let you leave it in there. What do they have in common? They all lie. Lying is quintessential to these types of people. So, again, like I said in the other video, if somebody's lying about their sexuality, what else are they lying about? Well, bringing it back to this video, if somebody's lying to you about the relationships that they're in, they can't even be honest about the fact that they're not monogamous, what else are they lying about? That's what I'm saying. These people lie all the time. So this is why, again, one of the many reasons why I'm non-monogamous. I'm going to keep on saying it, sooner or later, y'all going to start embracing it. Because you're going to get tired of getting played. You're going to get tired of getting played. You're going to get tired of getting hurt. And like I keep saying, stop putting all your eggs in one basket. That's one of the problems with monogamy. Monogamy really teaches people that the other person that they're committed to is supposed to be the end all be all. And as we see, especially in our generation, for Gen X, millennials, Gen Zs, that is not the case. You cannot be sitting up here putting all your eggs in one basket. You just can't. It's not logical at this point. It's just not. Okay, while you're sitting up here crying all on social media, embarrassed, people dragging Jayda for filth and making fun of her pain and suffering, those of us that have been used, lied to, led on, manipulated, those of us who have gone through similar situations, we're sitting here and we're giving her sympathy, we're empathizing with her or people like her because we've been in those situations. We've been in them. Like I said, 2 years ago, I totally get it. I get it. But honey, sis, bro, fellas, ladies, folks, people, stop playing yourself. I'm just going to say it. You have to wake up and smell the damn coffee. Or whatever it's called. Wake up and smell the roses or whatever. You need to wake up and smell the reality, because the reality of the matter is most of these niggas, bitches, people that a lot of times that we are falling for and getting our hearts broken over and just going through hell never wanted monogamy, didn't really want you. It was a lie from the get-go. It was manipulation from the get-go. This is why y'all got to stop falling for the love bombing shit. Y'all got to stop falling for basics, essentially. And a lot of this, again, like I say in my other videos, it goes back to how we were brought up. We grew up in these types of families. So it's hard to spot liars when the people you grew up with are liars. It's hard to spot people who are manipulators when the people that raised you are manipulators. Again, we're products of our environment. So we tend to follow, humans, we work through patterns of behaviors. So after a while, you get used to this and you think this is normal and you think this is love. Again, especially when we get to the Black community, a lot of the love that we talk about really it's not even love. It's a bunch of trauma bonds. It's a bunch of trauma bonds and fucking dysfunction. I mean, all these relationships where everybody's just cheating and lying, don't really care about this person. You over here doing this, and instead of just keeping it a buck, instead of just keeping it real, instead of being honest and transparent, hey, I'm not looking for a monogamous relationship. I can't give you a monogamous relationship. I'm not ready for that type of commitment. Instead of being real, you out here lying. But on the flip side, because I know women and feminine people do this as well, when a person shows you and tells you or shows you or tells you who they are, like Dr. Maya Angelou said, you need to believe them the first time. And I'm saying this to women and feminine folks in particular because a lot of times women and feminine folks believe that they can change people. And I'm here to tell you, no, you can't. You cannot change a grown person. A grown person has to want to change for themselves. So to the women and feminine folks, a lot of times people done already told you, I'm not looking for that. I'm not ready for that. And yet you're still pursuing that. You're playing yourself. You're wasting your own time and you're hurting yourself. Because at that point, you can't say that you wasn't told. Because there are situations where you have been told and you still sitting up here holding on hope. You put yourself into this fake ass situation where you're acting like you're in a committed relationship, even though this person has already told you that that's not what they're looking for. So you can't really sit up and say that you were manipulated at that point because you were told and you still decided that you were going to try to force somebody to be something that they weren't. And yes, women and feminine people do that all the time. So in many cases, you play yourself. Okay, and it's not just women and feminine folks, but it's just something to highlight because overwhelmingly, women and feminine folks are always being cheated on, lied to, played, right? And overwhelmingly, men and masculine people are the ones doing the cheating and the lying. However, it can be vice versa. It often is vice versa. But again, if people would just be honest and open from the get-go about what they want, who they want, what type of commitments they're going to be able to do, what type of commitments they're not going to be able to do, what type of relationship styles that they're on. Just be real. This lying and hurting other people's shit is played out, bro. It is. You know, if you're non-monogamous and you're not looking for commitment, you want an open relationship, whatever it may be, you need to be open and honest about that instead of sitting up lying and using folks. And people need to start realizing that these trauma bonds are not love. And I will be doing a separate video discussing trauma bonds a little more deeper, because like it can be, in my opinion, in my lived experiences, it can be argued. A lot of this so-called love, especially in the Black community, is nothing more than a bunch of trauma bonds. This shit is dysfunctional and toxic as fuck. And people don't want to keep it a buck. Again, I lived through this shit myself 2 years ago, and I'm here to tell you, that's from there, and then like going through counseling and therapy and just working on myself. I'm not monogamous, and I'm probably going to stay like this for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be sitting up putting myself in situations to be played and used. Y'all can do that. That's not going to be me, though. That shit is played out. I mean, again, after a while, you getting cheated on over and over and over again, it's obvious that the person you're with is not monogamous. And that's what I mean by you are playing yourself. Anyways, sending love to Jayda, to everybody out there that's dealing with these situations, and just sending love to everyone. But y'all, wake up. Wake up. Monogamy is not the only relationship style. And a lot of y'all would do better if you would embrace non-monogamy, because you wouldn't be sitting up having all these unnecessary attachments to people that don't want you in the first place and don't want what you want.